It's my pleasure, I think, to introduce the new mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, the one and only LaVerne Gore.
I don't know if I deserve that, but you got me too. I gotta knock it out the park. Good evening, and thank you all so much for coming. I think the pastor has done a great job of acknowledging our Lord, so I can move on, because we all know He's in the room, and we all know He's blessed everything that we do. I ask Him every day. A little bit concerned about getting to see it and not getting in, but it's okay. I think that the Lord knows that we need Him now. But you know, everywhere I go in Cleveland, and sometimes away to other cities, everybody says, "Who are you?" You've run for office, you've grown up in the community, you've done clothing drives, you've done food drives. You've participated in every aspect of our community. But yet we want to know who you are. You've raised 3 children. They've done their military service. They've gone to West Point Military Academy. One graduated from Harvard Law School. The other one graduated from Cleveland State. Believe it or not, they both served terms in the military. Wow. 2 are attorneys, and one I'm still hoping for to become an attorney. Doing very well, but you still need to know who I am. We elected a young man that is our current representative, and we knew absolutely nothing about him, right? But when I said I was a conservative, everybody wants to know, who are you? It doesn't matter who you are if you're not conservative. But if you're conservative, we want to know who you are. Okay, so I have 3 children, 3 sons. They're all adults. Believe it or not, born and raised in Cleveland, 92nd and Huff, 9 children. And I still tell people, and I was telling these ladies over here, my father didn't quit until he got a son. Okay? He didn't quit. He was persistent. So, 93rd Woodland Elementary, John Adams High School. Left John Adams High School because we were bused back then too. In case nobody knows, everybody thinks this busing is new. But there was a part of us that said gifted and talented. When you were gifted and talented in the Cleveland public school systems, they bused you. So you could be in a building with other gifted and talented students. So, Cleveland public schools were 25th in the nation. When you came out of Cleveland public schools, you were prepared. You got a job, you raised children. Now remember, I just came out of John Adams High School, so if there's a rebel in the house, that's me with you. I need to tell you that I went on to the Claremont colleges with a full scholarship. I graduated in the upper 5% of my class in economics. So Cleveland Public School didn't prepare me for the 13th grade. They prepared me to compete at the Claremont colleges, which is the Ivy League of the West Coast. So I have a degree in economics. That's how we started out. Economics and European history. Wow, but who are you? We still want to know who you are. Okay? So, I've owned property, I've owned homes, had children. Now see, I'm trying to bring you up to date. My husband was a traditional husband. I don't know if any of you know what traditional husbands are. They want their wives at home raising these kids, right? Because they want to be able to do what they want to do and come home and have dinner. And that's okay, because I was brought up to do that. Okay? So, a traditional husband, so while I was being a traditional wife, I decided that guess what I would do? I would go finish and get an education. Because it's kind of boring, even though those are wonderful children, it's kind of boring to just be in there with them all day. So I did something that was progressive back then. I know you didn't know I was progressive, did you? Okay. I took my children to grad school with me. I took my children to grad school. So, when my child was just a wee baby, he was on a blanket on the ground going to grad school with me. I got a degree in education, a master's degree in education, in adult learning and development. But now remember, I'm a conservative, so everybody says, who are you? Okay? So I have another child, they seem to come in pairs sometimes, right? And this child, I decided I'm going to go get an MPH, a master's in public health. So I did. I got a master's in public health with minority group populations as my specialty. But they still want to know, who are you? Okay? Now the pastor didn't tell you that I believe that the Lord was guiding my steps on all of this. Now, I've got a bachelor's in economics. I've got a master's degree in education. And I've got a master's degree in public health. Now, did I know we were going to have a COVID thing and that the public health degree was going to be able to have me understand what was going on? No, I didn't. So, now we got that degree. Who are you? I opened up a business out of my house because my husband said to me, and you see how husbands were important then, right? My husband said to me, well, these daycare bills and these other bills, and remember he's helping me have these kids, right? They're kind of getting expensive, right? So, maybe I need a little help. So I started a home business that turned into something that would send my children to Ignatius. It would send my children to Howell Military School. It would help pay for my children. Well, they went to West Point. West Point is free. Okay? My sons went to West Point. But who are you? I held the largest recruitment, and the only one in Cleveland. We rented out the Cleveland Metropolitan Museum of Art and had all academies recruited there. We have one of the largest base recruitments here in the United States from Ohio in the inner city because I decided that we needed to know about West Point because remember my husband told me, find something to do that pays. Okay? So I started working under George Bush as a national recruiter for West Point. But darn it, who are you? Who are you? Wow. So, I was down in the projects one day because Sarah J. Harper wanted a library at the Outway projects. Remember, my husband told me I got to find something to do. I got to find something to do that pays, but every now and then I could do something for free. This was for free. We started a library down in the Outway Apartments. We held clothing drives. We put on the largest presentation for the 2016 convention. Okay? We did that. The Ohio Diversity Coalition. But they want to know, who am I? So I'm going to tell you in a minute. I don't want you to get ahead of me, okay? I'm going to tell you. Okay? I am Catholic. I have 3 children, and you know the rest of it. It's all history. But, I am so many people. And then my husband died. My husband died. And I had to find out who I was all over again. Because after you've been married for 30 years, you're kind of, wait a minute, who am I? I'm Mrs. Larry Gore. That's who I am. No, not anymore. Not until that day comes that you will be. But right now, no, you're not. So, I started doing things like buying property. I don't know why God blessed me so much, and I'm being honest with each of you. But I came back to Cleveland when my husband died. And this wasn't the Cleveland. This wasn't the Cleveland. I can tell you for sure, Justin Bibb came and told me he loved and cared for Cleveland just like I did. And I was like, great, I can help you. So you know, the lady that did the art museums and all those things, she helped because she believed that was me. But they still want to know, who are you? I cannot say to you, in truth, that I have any faith at all in the current administration. Crime is up. Our children have a D-minus educational system. I read in Political that Mayoral Health was closing, and then Political came out and said the mayor lied. It's not closing. Can you imagine what happens when a mayor lies to a national organization? It affects the bond market. See, that's that economic piece that I have in my head. You affect what people want to invest in Cleveland. You take away that liberty. When you start closing down businesses like we did in COVID, and I want you to understand, I did not take the vaccine and would not take it today. But I don't mind anybody that does. I don't mind anybody that does. I have my degree in public health. I told you that, remember? Because you were trying to find out where I was. It just didn't feel right to me. But as an American, I have that right not to do what I don't want to do, especially injecting something in my body. And that's all that was going on. There was no political statement. I'm an educated woman with a master's in public health. Are you serious? It takes 10 years to get a vaccine. So I didn't take that. But Bibb, Mayor, I'm not supposed to speak his name. Sorry, Keith. He lied. And you know what my mother told me? If you lie, you'll steal. If you lie, you'll commit murder. A liar is a bad thing.
That's right.
He lied to me. He lied to the people of Cleveland. We have a lot of projects that have been started and unfinished. But we accepted it because we didn't know who he was, but it was okay. But as soon as you say conservative, then we got to know if you can mess up worse than him. Okay? But I assure you, God has prepared me. I've run my own business, I've raised my family, and I am committed to Cleveland because, see, I've lived all over the world. I forgot to tell you that my husband was a defense contractor. Does that make me a fascist anybody? No. That just makes him like money and he got to feed those kids. I am suggesting to you, having lived all over the world and lived in the Middle East, the one thing that nobody's paying attention to as we proceed through life here in Cleveland, and I know nobody wants to hear this, 2 countries ran out of water just 2 months ago. You know the water that we drink? They ran out of it. Guess what we have right outside our window? And what can we do with that water? Drink it. And how many of those little pools of water are in the entire world? How many? Anybody know? There's 10. 10 freshwater lakes in the entire world. If you convince me that water isn't worth more than the Cleveland Browns, you've lost your minds.
Right.
Okay? You cannot live without water. And this city has the capacity to be the greatest location in the nation. And it starts with that water. When I was in Saudi Arabia, they told me that Lake Erie was the most underdeveloped lake. Let me tell you something, if I had any means after I keep buying these t-shirts and this, because I'm self-funded, right? I assure you I'd be buying water if it was traded as a commodity. It's not, but it will. And guess what we'll have lots of? we'll have lots of that water because we've got one of 10 freshwater lakes in the world. So don't kid yourselves. Nobody has a vision here. I do. And you know something? One of my best friends told me, and you'll see it on the back of all my literature, I didn't know why God was giving me those 3 kids. I didn't know why I was having to get these degrees other than my husband having to pay tuition, right? But you know what? I do know now. For a time such as this, I needed to have everything that I have for a time such as this. God defined it, and I will pursue it. But I need your help. I need you to get your neighbors out to vote. I need you to get your kids out to vote. If we lose this, Cleveland has nothing because it's too scattered in too many directions. There is no plan. And you've all seen it. But I'll tell you something, don't tell anybody else something. It's a secret. Everybody raise your hand, you promise for the secret. Okay. Do not tell anybody that you know who I am. Because this is a great speech, and I plan on using it again. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, we have the room till 7:30, so I want you to please socialize, chat with LaVerne. We're going to do some questions and answers. But the one thing I want to say before we turn it over is that, you know, I grew up in Cleveland, and I don't live there now. I live in the Socialist Republic of Lakewood, but I can't get my wife to move. But anyway, you know, I grew up in Cleveland. It was the best location in the nation. And it grieves me to see what has happened in this city.